Welcome to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
I'm gonna be a mighty king, so enemies beware.
Well, I just saw the king of beasts with quite so little hair. So my favorite part of that song is that, and I know, Jen, you're going to be shocked, where it says, no one's saying be there, no one's saying stop that, no one's saying see here, now see here. So right there, don't like being told what to do.
I love it. So what that was is the Lion King, and it's the I Just Can't Wait to Be King. And we did get a little of Karen singing in there. I'm hoping that it went with the words. I felt like there was a slight delay. All of it good. But here's the thing. Karen, did that used to be your ringtone?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Totally ringtone on my cell phone. Because, and I think that was probably ringtone when I was a lieutenant. And
okay.
Yeah. And that will fit in very nicely as we tell the story in a little bit.
All right. So yes, that is the whole thing. So right now what we're doing is talking about optimism. And what happens is people often will feel hopeful about their future and what's going to happen until they start overthinking things. What we mean is that people go, oh my God, I have this great idea. I really want to do this, or I have this goal and I have this ambition, or, oh my gosh, what if I could do this? And then what happens is they're feeling good, they're excited. And then all of a sudden they're like, I don't know how to do that. How am I ever going to do that? How would I even start to do that? And they start to get wrapped up in the how of the execution, and it takes them away from what their goal is. To those types of situations, what do we say, Karen?
F the how. I'm not going to say the F word, Jen.
Good. So we say F the how, because the how doesn't really matter. The reason why we shared with you the I Can't Wait to Be King, which was Karen's ringtone, is she had a goal for many, 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 many years in her career. And she didn't worry about how it was going to happen. So, Karen, tell us what that goal was.
So, you know, Jen, it's interesting that you just said that. I didn't really worry about how it was going to happen. And I think that right there, what just popped out for me was that I kind of trusted myself. And, you know, this goes back to, I mean, I was young. I was really, really young. And I was in a DEA drug school. And I still remember this, is going out to lunch with these three guys. And this one guy says to me, he's a little bit further along on the job than I was. And he's a little bit of a cocky, arrogant kind of guy. And he says to me, he's like, so where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I was pretty naive, right? I'm like, I want to be chief in 10 years. And he's like, you're never going to be chief. And I was just like, what? He's like, you're never going to be chief. And he's like, you're not in 10 years. He's just not just an arrogant a-hole. So anyway, that was always the goal for me, to be chief. And it was interesting because I knew that it wasn't going to happen overnight, but I also knew that it was there, right? It was the thing that was at the end of the law enforcement tunnel, for quite frankly, because that's the top step. But what I did was, throughout my career, I laid the groundwork to do all the things that I needed to do to actually get there. Like, I didn't know how, quote unquote, to be chief. I had no idea how to be chief. I was friggin' directing traffic at that point. But what I did was I started to, you know, I studied for promotion tests, right? Studied for a sergeant test, or come out first on the sergeant test. I was a sergeant for a really long time. And then I got good at being a sergeant. At first, I didn't really know how to do that. But when you're in it, you're in the groove, you learn how to do it. And incidentally enough, I did get in a rut there, but that was last week. So then I went to be a lieutenant, right? Study my ass off there. So come out first on a lieutenant's test. Did I know how to be a lieutenant? No, but I knew that I could be a lieutenant, right? So I get promoted, do all the things that I need to do to be a pretty good lieutenant. Then what I want to do, you want to be a captain. Do I know how to be a captain? No. But I know that that's part of the whole journey along the way to being chief. So then I come out number one on the captain's test and then have all those kind of cool responsibilities. And the cool part about this whole thing was in the beginning, right? You don't know how. And here's a little interesting side note I'm going to tell you, Jen. I don't even know if you know this, but, and you probably do. So I was in a law enforcement agency, Morris County, New Jersey, Chatham for 23 years. And I knew that I could be chief there. And I also knew that the guy that was the chief there, no idea when he was going to leave. So I asked him, I said, hey, listen, I have this opportunity and I need to know what your plan is about what it is that you're going to do next in your career. And I still remember him sitting there and he says to me, he goes, Kara, I don't have a fucking plan. He goes, I didn't do my career the way you did your career. He said, I didn't make the contacts. I didn't go to the schools. I didn't get my master's degree. He's like, where am I going? And at that point, I knew that I had to do something different. And an opportunity came up for me to be a chief in Monmouth County. And what I did there, it was interesting because it was, I'll tell you guys, it was a scary spot because I knew exactly how to be chief in Chatham. No idea how to be chief in Monmouth County, right? No idea how to be a chief down there. So to take the leap, didn't know how, no idea, but I had to take the leap and trust myself and take that job. So what else do you want to add to that, Jen?
Well, I think that's great because that's 2F the house, right? So one is directing traffic and having the aspiration to do it. Not sure how it's going to happen, but I just believe in myself to be able to get there. The second was when the opportunity came and it was different than perhaps you had thought it was going to be. That was a second F the how, I'll figure it out. And so I just think that that's really such a way of being able to go after what it is that you want. So many people don't set goals because they don't know how to get there. So many people have a goal and then they're afraid they won't know how to do it, so they abandon it early. And so this is really about how do you not worry about the how. You put up the goal, align your actions. I mean, you guys heard what Karen said, right? She did different things that would move her in that direction as she figured it out. She didn't know the game plan day one, but she continued to add to it, change it, ebb it, and flow it. And I think that's just really important because a lot of times as coaches, when people abandon their goals, we don't explore the relationship with knowing how to do something.
Jen, I think that's really important. And I think that it's incumbent upon you as a coach that when somebody abandons a goal to help them understand the reason why. And if it's abandoning the goal because they don't know how, that's one thing, right? If it's abandoning the goal because it doesn't fit anymore, okay, great. That's another thing. And if it's abandoning the goal because there's fear, that's a whole nother story. So the thing is here is you need to understand when you're coaching, it's when people give up or when they're like, I'm out, it's understanding what's behind that, right? Sometimes there's going to be the failures, right? So what? Fail quick, fail often, and learn from it and move on. And it's our jobs to help them and to be confident. Confidence is key in all of this because if you have the confidence to know that, all right, so what? Something's going to go sideways. No, I jacked up boatloads of things. So what? And you just bounce back. And it's the bounce back and having the confidence to have the bounce back. There's another lion, right? I mean, well, no, that was a lion. That was a tiger with Tigger with bouncing back. Never mind. Watch way too much Disney as my nieces and nephews were growing up.
I love it. So one of the things also as coaches, what I want you to start to pay attention to is how many of your questions start with how, because how questions tend to be about actions or about processes, versus what questions, which is about insight and perspective. So when you're coaching, if you default to how questions, there's a good chance you're staying on the surface of your coaching. And it's about how do you flip those to what questions. So we're going to be talking about this in our Facebook group on Friday. Come join us, listen to us. It's at noon. It's Kickstart Your Coaching Edge with Jen and Karen Facebook group. Ask to be a member of it and come listen to that Facebook Live Friday. And don't forget to join us next Monday with the Holy Shit series that is taking off. Registration information is on the write up. So on that note, Karen, with your I Just Can't Wait to Be King, how perfect was it to have that as a ringtone as you were just moving forward with the confidence and applying the right actions to what your goal was?
Hear it all the time. Just can't wait to be king.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in-crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.